What is up, YouTube? You're watching Calum Gaylor Outdoors, and today we're going to do an overview of the Beretta APX A1 carry. This is my carry gun, but first things first, I want to talk about the name. So this is called the Beretta APX A1, and I think the name is a little bit of a mistake, even though the APX logo on top does look cool. I think that it should have been called the Beretta Nano Gen 2, because I think that's basically what this gun is. So Beretta does make a pistol called the Beretta APX A1. It is a double-stacked, striker-fired duty pistol, something like a police officer would wear or maybe a soldier would wear. It's a full-size combat pistol. Now, they make a compact version and a full-size version of that gun, and then they make this gun, which is literally nothing like it other than looks. This is a single-stacked striker-fired pistol, but it's not interchangeable parts-wise with the regular APX A1. This has more in common with the original Beretta Nano than I feel like it does the APX. Anyways, it's called the APX A1 Carry. I think it's a confusing name because it's totally a different gun. But this is my carry gun. This is what I carry. I think it's a fantastic carry gun. It's very thin. It's only 0.9 inches wide, so less than an inch wide. And it fits just fine on the inside the waistband holster. That's typically how I carry it. And you can also fit it in a pocket holster if you have a little bit bigger pockets. Let's say you have cargo shorts or cargo pants. It should fit in those pockets just fine. Now, if you're wearing jeans, probably not. But it comes with an 8-round magazine. Mine came with one magazine in the box, just like a cardboard box that said Beretta on it. One magazine, 8 rounds. But you have different options. You can get a 6-round magazine, these right here. And it fits a little bit smaller, but you have 6+1 instead of 8+1. I have several magazines for it. I typically carry the 8-round magazines, and these magazines are compatible with the Beretta Nano. That's why I feel like this is just an upgraded Nano. Anyways, let's talk about the features and aesthetics. So aesthetically, it looks like an APX. They've designed it to look that way. You do have the front and rear serrations. I think those are great if you like doing press checks. Good purchase on those serrations. They're nice and like grippy. You can get a good grip on those. The trigger guard is big, and I like that. So if you're in a cold environment and you have a gloved hand, you should be able to fit a gloved finger in there, no problem, in that trigger guard. No serrations on the front. I wish they sort of did some serrations, but hey, I'm happy with a square. I prefer squared trigger guards myself, and I like that they gave you enough room for a gloved hand. Now let's talk about the trigger. It reminds me a lot of a Glock's trigger. It has that safe action blade, but the reason it reminds me of a Glock trigger is how it feels. So when you go to pull the trigger, you hit a distinct wall just like a Glock, and then click. You know exactly where it's going to click every single time. But it is a little bit heavier than a Glock trigger, but it's very reminiscent of a Glock trigger. Now, the grip itself is another place where this gun really shines. You have a very aggressive squares in the back of this grip and in the front of the grip. It almost has a sandpaper feel. It gives you a real good purchase of the handgun. It really locks you in there with that sandpaper rough texture. Reminds me sort of the M&P 2.0. And then on the side, you have this attractive stippling job they have going on here. And it has sort of a sandpaper feel as well. It, just overall great grip altogether. I love the grip there. It really locks you in. The grip angle is nice. You feel like you're up under that bore. And it just really feels like it locks in. I like the grip a lot on this APX A1 carry. Let's talk about the disassembly. Disassembly is really easy. All you got to do is take the magazine out, flip this lever down, and you can just pull the trigger and the slide will come right off. I'm not going to do that because I'm doing everything one-handed, and I don't want to disassemble it. So I got it put back together real quick. But all you have to do is pull that down, pull the trigger, it's going to come off. Now, they do not recommend dry firing in the manual on this gun, so it does have a little hole. You can stick a pin in there, and it releases that striker safely, and you can slide the slide right off. Me personally, I'm not too worried about damaging the gun. I don't think it's going to dry firing it, but the manual says that it might. So keep that in mind. I'm not buying it. The Beretta 92 I have a manual for that as well, and that manual doesn't recommend dry firing as well. So that might just be a Beretta thing, them not recommending dry firing. It's a lot like the Beretta Nano, except for the Nano did not have a slide stop. This gun does. So let's see if I can rack this all the way back one-handed. Maybe I might be able to. Let me see if I can get a hold of it and rack it back. Let's see. All right, sorry for the bad camera work. I racked it back, and you can drop the slide with this slide stop right here. It has that built in. Once again, I think it's basically an upgraded Nano. Your sights, this one's sights have a blacked out rear with a nice front white dot. I may get a night sight for my front dot. I'm not sure, but I think that would go really good with this. But yeah, so that's your sight picture. I like the blacked out rear personally, and you can put a red dot on there, so it has that ability. You can take this plate off and put a red dot. I'm not sure what red dot fits on it, but I believe some of them do. I think it's the shield ones possibly. The magazine release is reversible, so you have that option if you're left-handed and shoot left-handed. You can just take that out and swap it over with a little bit of work. It should be pretty easy to do. And that's basically everything I can think of off the top of my head. I paid right at $300 brand new for mine. You will normally find it for $399 online. I just happened to get a good deal. These are made in Gallatin, Tennessee, if I did not say it beforehand. And they are modular. So your serialized part is inside of this. You can take it, you can separate that from the frame and buy different frames. So if you really want to have 3 or 4 different colors for your gun, you can do that. Mine is obviously green, but you can get it in brown or gray or black or whatever. If you want to have 3 or 4 different frames, you can do that. I'm not sure if many people do that or not, but you can if you want to. So that's an option as well. And other than that, that's everything I can think of. If you have any questions about this pistol, just let me know in the comments below, and I'll try to answer that. But that is pretty much everything I can think of. I do know that lengthwise, it's less than 6 inches long, and it's less than 5 inches tall without the magazine. So if you don't have the magazine in, I think it's 4 point something, and it's 5 point something long. I don't know the specs off the top of my head, but I do know the width is 0.9 inches, so very thin. Now, these days, there are a lot of little double stack guns that are not much bigger than this available. So maybe you would consider that. You've got like the Taurus GX4, the SIG 365, the Ruger Max 9. You have those options that hold, I think they hold typically 10 or 11 rounds. This holds 8 plus 1, so you've got 9 rounds. So, you know, there is a capacity advantage to some of the other brands. But me personally, I like that thin body. It's a little bit smaller. It feels great. It shoots great. I haven't had any failure to feeds, failure to fires, failure to ejects, nothing. I've had no malfunctions, and it is very accurate in so far. My shooting has been very accurate. So I personally like it. It's what I carry, and I recommend the Beretta APX A1 carry. I think it's a good gun. I think I've pretty much covered everything. There's nothing really else I can think to talk about on this one. So if you have any questions, leave them below, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.